Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
Your reaction to Nick Sirianni?
I think he's admitting the point that I and many others have been making. Yes, it is the ultimate team game, but the Eagles are a stacked team. Yeah. Is saying Jalen Hurts is the 10th best quarterback in football disrespectful? Like, if that is disrespectful, then I guess I'm a hater.
If you're saying he's in the top third, it sounds disrespectful.
Okay.
Some of it's the guys you put ahead of him, too. But
and we'll get to the mountain/peak later in the show, but they are a stacked team. ESPN's doing this thing where they're ranking position groups and they're asking executives and scouts and all of that in the top 10 at every group. The Eagles had 2 of the top 6 offensive tackles in the NFL. Yep. They had a top 5 interior offensive lineman and an honorable mention interior offensive lineman. They have a top 10 tight end. When the receiver list comes out, they'll have a top 10 receiver. They had the number 1 running back. They had the 3rd ranked defensive tackle. They are a stacked team. And so what would I like to see from Jalen Hurts? I'd like him to throw the ball. I would like him to be asked to throw the ball. Because everybody remembers how last year started for the Eagles, right? Yep. They were 2-2 in their first 4 games. Mm-hmm. He threw 30 or more passes in all 4 of those games, averaged 33 pass attempts per game, and they went 2-2. They made a very public, we're going to rely on our offensive line and Saquon Barkley. They went 12-1 down the stretch, won the Super Bowl, and Saquon Barkley had one of the all-time great running back seasons ever when they pivoted away from asking their quarterback to throw the ball. And this is not an abnormal thing to say if we look at who does he compare to among Super Bowl champions in this century of passers of the football. He's a great runner. He's a great leader. He's a gamer. He's been great in the Super Bowl. The list is not that impressive when we're talking about volume of pass attempts, and we can show it to you because it's guys who, this is the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks with the fewest number of...
Okay. That's as far as I can go. I'm sorry. It's as far as I can go. I'm just, this is just, we're just losing our minds now at this point. First off, I would love to know when this number of 30 pass attempts has become some magical, mythological number that you have to do. I'd love to know that, okay? And there's so much to attack here and address here. It's like, I gotta remember of the insanity of him going through how great this Philadelphia Eagles team was, because he's like, well, they had a great wide receiver, they had a top tight end, they had a top, defensive tackle, whatever it was, and it's just like, what do you think the Kansas City Chiefs were in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21? Like, what are we saying here? Like, it's such insanity. It's such insanity. And saying that you want to see him throw more, why? They lit up the NFL. They literally lit up the NFL. And you want him to throw more just because? And I got news for you. Jalen Hurts, when he's asked to throw 30 plus times, he wins a lot of games. He wins a lot of games. But you know what? Jalen Hurts doesn't get the benefit of the doubt here. And I've highlighted this a lot recently, okay? This is behind the line of scrimmage passes. A lot of players, especially the Mahomes of the world, because that's Andy Reid, and that's not a knock on Patrick Mahomes, but it's the way how some of these offenses are run. You get a lot of extra pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage. It's kind of like meant to be like in a weird way, like an extension of the run game. The Philadelphia Eagles don't need to do that because Jalen Hurts has his legs. He is the extension of the run game. And of course, he's had Saquon Barkley, and in years past, he has not had Saquon Barkley. I'm not sure if you know that. And look where Jalen Hurts is. So look at these top pass attempts. Okay, 652, 584, 581. Let's just look at these 3 right here. Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has 124 pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, 106. Joe Burrow, 82. Baker Mayfield, 114. Okay. 10 and up. You can't find anyone. The lowest is 79 with Sam Darnold. Where do you think Jalen Hurts is in pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage, which would artificially bump up his pass attempts and make it look like he's throwing 30 times a game? You want to see where he is? 46. 46 attempts. That's how many he has. One of the lowest in the NFL. Cooper Rush has more passes behind the line of scrimmage. The only people that are lower are the ones that didn't play a full season, like Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence. Okay? All these other quarterbacks, all the other starting quarterbacks, they all have more than him. Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. That boosts up this whole overall pass attempts. Pretty easy. If we double Jalen Hurts' pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage, what do you think that would do? If he had the same amount of pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage as like a Mahomes, less than Patrick Mahomes actually, he would be averaging 29 pass attempts a game. It's just basic math. It's just basic math. Math that they teach you when you're in like 5th grade or something. Maybe even 4th grade. I don't know. Maybe even 3rd grade. These things matter. How about screen passes? 100, 94, 93. Patrick Mahomes, 83. Baker Mayfield was 94. Jaden Daniels, 78. Josh Allen, 67. Jared Goff, 67. Sam Darnold, 66. Jordan Love, 64. Where's Jalen Hurts at? Justin Herbert, 47. Jalen, where are you? Oh, look. Look at him at the bottom of the NFL with 32. No way. No way. Offenses are run differently. Okay? So look at efficiency, not volume. Jalen Hurts in 2023, when he was asked to throw the ball a lot more, what happened? He now had 80 pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage. A major increase. Okay? He was also, for screen passes that year as well, top 7 with 62. Of course, Patrick Mahomes was still number 1. Jalen Hurts only had 1 touchdown on a screen pass. Patrick Mahomes had 4. I know, but it was all because of Patrick Mahomes' like amazing ability to throw the perfect screen pass. I know. You do realize in 23, Jalen Hurts threw 31 times, beat the Miami Dolphins, threw 31 times, beat the Buffalo Bills, threw 33 times, beat the New England Patriots, threw the ball 37 times, beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, threw the ball 37 times, beat the Commanders, 38 times, beat the Rams, 38 times, beat the Commanders, 38 times, beat the Giants. You guys get the story here? In 2022, 39 pass attempts, beat the Titans. 37, beat the Bears. 36, beat the Cardinals. 35, beat the Giants. 35, beat the Commanders. 32, beat the Lions. 31, beat the Giants. 31, beat the Vikings. Like, what are we inventing here? It's so bizarre how in the Super Bowl, okay, Patrick Mahomes throws for 27 times and 182 yards. And he rushed for 44. And people want to, you want to pretend like that was somehow a better game because they ended up winning because it's a team sport where Jalen Hurts throws the ball 38 times, has the same number of completions as Patrick Mahomes has pass attempts, throws for over 300 yards, a touchdown, and set the NFL record for Super Bowls with 70 yards rushing and had to be the leading rusher for his own team. I mean, like, it's so ridiculous. I mean, we're bordering insanity at this point. We really are. Because the Eagles don't ask him to throw the ball 35 times every single game. That's the solution now in the modern era of the NFL You want your quarterback to throw less. Do you realize that in 2018, Patrick Mahomes put up unbelievable numbers, which I highlighted before, that a lot of those numbers came from behind the line of scrimmage passes. I'm not going to do that again. And then in 2019, they absolutely slashed his pass attempts and his touchdown passes. And then they won the Super Bowl. Did anyone say, well, the Chiefs asked him to do less and that's why they won? I don't think so. I don't recall anyone saying that. Did anyone say, well, listen, Patrick Mahomes is obviously great, but like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. Like, it's funny how these things only matter for Jalen Hurts. They only matter for Jalen Hurts. That's so bizarre. What about when Jalen Hurts was a first-year starter? His like fourth game of his career of his career as a starter, where he threw 32 for 48, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 47 yards. With Devontae Smith, rookie receiver Devontae Smith is his number 1 weapon. That's it. Kenneth Gainwell rocking a whopping 31 yards, and Miles Sanders a cool 13 against the Kansas City Chiefs. The year that they were really good. Patrick Mahomes had 200 yards of rushing with his team, with the Kansas City Chiefs. He only threw for 278 yards and only had 30 attempts, but I guess because he had that 30 attempt, that's like, oh, that means it was great. It means it was amazing. That means he's the best. Let's just downplay everything else that kind of went his way. I mean, Jalen Hurts from the pocket has a 78.9% completion percentage. Second in the NFL. With a touchdown ratio of 12-3. That's somehow bad? Second in the NFL in yards per attempt, 9.4 from the pocket. That's somehow bad? Jalen Hurts, third best passer rating in the NFL in the pocket. That's somehow bad? Because they don't ask him to throw 35 times a game? Well, that doesn't make sense. And this is why something like this is so ridiculous. Super Bowl winning quarterback this century, fewest starts with over 30 pass attempts. Includes regular season and playoffs. First off, takes away what Jalen Hurts adds collectively from the team, right? With his legs, the threat of the run, the RRPO. It takes away a game where he throws the ball only 28 times, plays awesome, flawless, has 3 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, could be 2 passing touchdowns if Devontae Smith wasn't, bear hugged essentially. It's just we're gonna downplay that. We'll downplay what he had against the Rams in a snowstorm, his 44-yard touchdown run, him checking Saquon Barkley into his 60-plus yard touchdown run. We'll just act like that doesn't matter because he didn't get 2 more pass attempts, I guess. Like, weird. And I guess Jaden Daniels will get more credit because he threw the ball 48 times, but only had 255 yards. I guess that makes sense, right? And we're going to pretend like when the game is 14-12 in the second quarter of the NFC Championship game, that you got Jalen Hurts being flushed out of the pocket because that amazing O-line, we know that O-line has just given Jalen Hurts all day, and it was an easy day here. You got Jalen Hurts making throws like this, and we're just going to pretend like this isn't special, okay? Off his back foot, flying to the side. A perfect pass to Devontae. But again, it was pass interference, and so it hit him right in the hands. Throws the most beautiful pass. But Jalen Hurts doesn't get credit for it, even though that play literally directly led to a touchdown. A touchdown that only Jalen Hurts can do with tush push. But let's take that away from him. Oh, and by the way, it was 3rd and 13. 3rd and 13. Do you think that was a crucial part of the game? 3rd and 13? I think so. Yeah, I think so. How about Jalen Hurts scoring a touchdown? Having the ball. How many quarterbacks do you know score in this situation right here? All right. Where we got 1, 2, 3, 4 commanders right there. All the blockers are dealt with. You can see. They're already taking care of the defensive line. And yet, Jalen Hurts still finds his way into the end zone. Is able to beat his man. How about with 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the half? 14-12. 4th and 5. 4th and 5. I should have showed you it in order here. But 4th and 5. Just to be able to get to that beautiful throw. What does Jalen Hurts do? 4th and 5. He's not a good passer of the ball. They don't ask him to do a lot. But yet, in one of the biggest moments in the game, what do they ask him to do? Drop back and deliver literally the most perfect ball that you could throw. But he didn't throw the ball 30 times. So they didn't really ask him to do much. And the defense forced turnovers. Weird how in the biggest moments of the game they put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. That's weird. That's weird. Weird how that happens. Do you understand? Do you see now? That's why you actually got to watch these games. You actually got to watch how they unfold. In the Super Bowl, when it was also a 4th down on the first drive, did they put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands in that moment too? They did. And now, how about this? This is Greg Cosell on with the herd after the Super Bowl. By the way, he knows more about football than you, me, the majority of people out there, quite frankly. Listen to what he says about Jalen Hurts and that Super Bowl performance.
Right. What Jalen Hurts is exceptionally good at is he throws the ball outside the numbers really, really well. That's his game. And he made that 3rd and 7 back shoulder throw to A.J. Brown. That was as pretty as you could make a throw. That's his game. And obviously the long touchdown to Smith, that was set up all throughout the game. That was their 7th play out of the pistol formation. The previous 6 were runs. And then they came with the play action after the Chiefs turned it over on downs. But he also made a couple of other really good throws. There was one 3rd down, and this will never appear in a highlight, but it was a 9-yard completion, I believe, on 3rd and 8 to Devonta Smith, where the Chiefs tried to change the picture pre-snap to post-snap, and he read it immediately, and he hit his back foot and delivered the ball. So, yeah, he played. In many ways, it was a Jalen Hurts game, very efficient. And one other point to make, which you can't ever overlook, is the run game element with Jalen. He had 3 runs in the second half. A couple of times they spied him, and he beat the spy. Those are backbreakers. Those are morale breakers for a defense. And that's a major part of his game, and he has such a good feel for that, Colin. And that's, you know, we know that the game has changed a bit now in terms of quarterbacks, and these kinds of plays are so important in games.
Yeah. But let's just downplay what he can do with his legs, because I guess it's not 30 pass attempts. But wait, there's more. He was only able to play great in these games because they just sold out to stop Saquon.
They bottled him up.
Yeah, they didn't do anything you would think is special. They did not load the box, as most people probably assume. They had a couple of run blitzes on 1st down here and there. They very often lined up in a 2-deep shell, and then they just had a safety immediately drop down if the ball was snapped and make it appear that there was a gap that was open and the safety would fill the gap. But contrary to what people think, they did not load the box. In fact, their D-line actually played very well in the run game. They beat up the Eagles' O-line at times and therefore made plays where they just won one-on-one match.
I thought that O-line was just the most amazing O-line in the history of the universe. And that's why Jalen Hurts doesn't deserve any credit. That's so weird.
So I don't think there's a blueprint here necessarily. As I said, they did run blitz on occasion on early downs. Tranquil was a factor in this, and he's a good player. But there wasn't anything where you went, oh, my God, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Oh. Weird. So weird. And one more just for fun. Here's Mark Sanchez.
2-man combos I was talking about. You cut the field in half, start on the right side. High angle corner, and that out route to Goddard. It's going to be man-to-man. He saw the motion, so he knows this is going to take a little longer. He gets to the top of his drop, And you're going to see there goes the shallow chasing the two-man combination. So that's going to come right into his vision. He can keep his eyes to the right. But he has such good feel in the pocket, knowing when it's man-to-man, that if he sees a rush lane, this dude is gone. And he gets to top speed fast. He's already looking away from Goddard before he breaks on his route. Manning, Brady, Breeze, Goff, Stafford, all these guys, that ball goes to Goddard. It's a tight window throw. The ball goes to Goddard. Jalen Hurts, he kills you on a 3rd and 5 and scrambles for 19. I mean, those were some of his.
Yeah. And that pass to Goddard would have maybe been a first down right at the unofficial yellow line that they always say. Remember, that line isn't official. Yeah, we know, bro. We've been watching football for like a million years here. But instead, Jalen Hurts rips off. So we don't have to downplay what this man does. We don't have to downplay what he does. We don't have to do something like this and pretend like this means anything. Because it's just embarrassing at this point. It really is. I understand if you want to say that he's not a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, that he's not historically great, that he's not on a Hall of Fame path. Like, all of those things are all technically fair game. They are, right? It's just conversation here, right? It's sports talk. We all got different opinions. But to pretend like he doesn't do these things great, or that we can just be like, well, he's good at running, but I want to see him throw the ball, this, that. It's just becomes an indefensible take. It really does. It becomes an indefensible take. And I've now shredded this from every different angle I could. From specific highlights on the film of him making beautiful throws, extending plays with his legs, having people who can break down film way better than you or anyone else you know explain what's happening. Explain how a lot of pass attempts can be artificially elevated when you have a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, screen passes, etc. Although that's not the way how the Eagles run their offense, especially specifically in 24, because they have a different style run game. It's just the way it goes. And before anyone says anything about Saquon Barkley, and so that's why they didn't do it, behind the line of scrimmage passes, Lamar Jackson had Derrick Henry, an also obvious monster of a running back. He had 82 pass attempts from behind the line of scrimmage. Again, Jalen Hurts, 46. Offenses are just run differently. I rest my case. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jalen Hurts? You know, he just doesn't throw the ball enough. It's a team game, only for Jalen Hurts and no one else. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.